Welcome back to the Vikings Central. It's the post-game show. Ravens win at home for the Vikings 27 to 19. I'm sure you have plenty of comments. It's just me. Today, I'm not going to be joined by Ken, who was our Baltimore Ravens pregame show guest. He's at this game today, but welcome to the post-game show. If you have any comments or questions, and if you can, please just drop those comments in X or YouTube if you're following us, or Facebook Live. And again, Vikings lose this game 27 to 19. Very disappointing. It started out very promising for the Vikings, getting up 7-0 on the Ravens. Who I felt like our defense early for at least the first quarter and a half, uh, was really doing their job on Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. And we were limiting their ability for what they were able to do with the ball. We were bending, not breaking. We were forcing them to kick field goals. Just unfortunately, after that first series by JJ McCarthy, which looked good, and we get the touchdown, it just seems like after that, the play calling, after the scripted first drive, just we can't put things together. And, obviously, things kind of the wagon wheels on the wagon just kind of fall off for us. And it just seemed like a downhill slide. The Vikings have 8 false starts in this game. 8. And this is a home game. I'm not sure exactly what I want to attribute this to, but discipline. Discipline. We got to be able to not cost ourselves penalties and shoot ourselves at the foot, especially when we're at home. It should be the Ravens that are having to prepare and struggle with the sound and the noise when we're at US Bank Stadium. And that just wasn't the case for us today. Joe Money on X says, got to work on these false starts. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you. So that should be a focus for Kevin O'Connell this week. If it's not, and we don't fix this with all of these penalties that we had, I mean, it's hard to get anything going on the offensive side of the ball when you're completely uh, taking yourself out of good field position, and now you're working on second or third and long. Just, just can't do that. Alex Manning on X says no words for how bad that was. The fact that it was only a one score game flatters us. Yeah. The fact that we got a touchdown late and had an opportunity to win this is surprising. Um, but I mean, what's even more surprising is just the way that we, frankly, melt down. Miles Price, who's been really reliable for us and doing great. Last week, he had a kickoff touchdown that, again, penalties on the kickoffs that hurt us, but, you know, fumbles on the kickoffs today. Um, you know, we turned the ball over 3 times, should have been 4 times. But we had an interception that, I guess did hit the ground there at the end by Roquan Smith, which, saved us and helped us get it down to a one score game. But accuracy, from JJ McCarthy, that still is a theme to where we have those issues with JJ McCarthy, in my opinion. And Six Shooter Nation, you're on YouTube saying the 8 false starts that came from the quarterback cadence and discipline. Yeah, yeah. Says you're right, but the quarterback cadence is throwing the offensive line off. They don't know when to go, and that's why they couldn't sit. If that's the case, again, they should be working on that this week to get that right. And I know that there's been a lot of people that have been, hurt and the chemistry and stuff on that offensive line, but you know, if that's what it is that quarterback cadence, then that should be a focus of this offense during this week as we prepare for our next game against the Bears. We gotta, this was the toughest game. I did mention that this was the toughest game that we had remaining on our schedule. So we knew that this was going to be a tough game for us. But, I was hopeful coming off of that Detroit win that we would have the opportunity to come in this with momentum and at least perform well. And I think for the most part, I think our defense did that. Yes, we allowed some rushing yards in the second half, but I thought our defense played good enough to win. You got to remember our offense gave over the ball 3 times, almost 4 times, couldn't stay on the field. So as many opportunities and plays that the Ravens were able to run, uh, that's crazy. So we take a look at our past path to the playoffs. So we take the loss today against the Ravens. I mentioned in the pregame show that, we need to win 6 games probably to win the playoff or to get into the playoffs and be 10-7. So we lose today, we go to 4-5. We can only afford 2 more losses. So taking a look at the schedule, we got to find 5 in here. 6-shooter nation again. Baltimore did not play well. We gave them that game. Run the ball when you're on the goal line or in short yardage. Very good point. We had, at least a couple different opportunities where it was kind of confusing why we were trying to pass the ball on 3rd and short. We got to be able to make smart play calls and have trust that we can get a yard from our running backs, especially with Jordan Mason back there. Let's use them, and we have our offensive line back. So we got to make better plays. On X, Brutal Man, it looks like KOC doesn't know what he's doing out there. He hasn't learned in short yardage and red zone. Accuracy issues on JJ are a little frightening. What's up with Jefferson? Yeah, no, I don't know. It did look like some plays that we just didn't get the effort we typically see out of JJ. Yeah, the one he tripped over Humphrey's legs, but after they make the kip pick on 2 of those picks, I'd like to see you know just a better attempt to then play defense and try to take down the individual that intercepted the ball. But um, even just some of those toss up balls to JJ, you know, I'd like it to see him be more aggressive to go get that ball and fight for that. So that was struggle. I don't know. That was just frustrating to see. Vikings Gallerhorn says turnovers and holding them to 3 full field goals early was solid. I completely agree. Completely agree. Um, you know, hold them to 3 field goals early. I thought that was good. I mean, I don't think they should have got that last one before half. I mean, we totally botched that. Um, because again, we were trying to be aggressive ourselves, which I'd like. We just were ineffective in doing so and gave them an opportunity to put another 3 on before half. It should have been 10-6 at the least. But yeah, turnovers, that killed us, absolutely killed us today. Um, 6-shooter nation back on YouTube says defense kept us in the game, and they can only hold for so long. Absolutely. Alex Manning on X, defense was fine, offense stunk. Jefferson's worst game as a Viking. He did have one that hit him in the hands in the end zone, and yes, defensive player got his hand in there at the end, but when it hit his hands, I mean, it wasn't affected by the defensive player. Um, you gotta catch that ball, uh, especially when it hits you in the hands. So I know JJ throws a fastball, but man, yeah, you got to have that one in the end zone. That would have been big for us. And I believe that was on a drive. We went for it on 4th and came away with nothing. So um, 9-10 play drive. Not exactly sure what that was in reference to, but taking a look at the stats in this game from both teams, we held Lamar Jackson to only 176 yards passing. I mean, that seems like a success, right? He had no interceptions, but only 1 touchdown passing, 176. And, Lamar Jackson, he ran for only 36 yards. Derrick Henry ran for 75, no touchdowns. Keaton Mitchell did have some success in 4 carries with 31 yards, but for the most part, I thought we did well. I mean, yeah, they have a total of 152 yards on the ground. Um, and most of that came in the second half, late in the game, late 3rd quarter, 4th quarter type runs. But for most of the game, I thought we did a good job. Bend, don't break, right? Um, but they were capitalizing off the turnovers that we had. And, JJ McCarthy, he threw for 248. I'll, you know, albeit, hey, it's more than 143 yards passing, so I was hoping to see JJ be able to throw more than maybe 220 today. So it, it's I guess I mean you look at the stat and you see 248, but he was 20 of 42. I mean, you're not even hitting 50%, connecting on 50% of your passes in two interceptions. I think there's some of those passes where he threw the long ball where it's third down and you got open field in front of you. Instead of throwing a jump ball, double coverage type thing to Justin Jefferson, even though you know we want to give him plays. Now, if he's got guys bearing down on him, sure, make that throw. But when you got a wide open field in front of you, just run for the first down. Live to see another day, right? That's kind of where I'm at on that. JJ ran. He had 5 carries for 48 yards. And on some of those runs, I mean, late in the game, he started doing that. I would have liked to see that throughout the game. So, and I think he still did a good job in some areas to where he kept his eyes down the field. But if no one's there, just tuck in and run. You have the ability with your legs to make some big plays, and I think he left some on the field. Aaron Jones had 9 carries for 47 yards and a touchdown. I thought Aaron Jones played a decent game. Jordan Mason 4 carries for 25 yards. You take a look at this. JJ McCarthy 9.6 average on the ground. Aaron Jones 5.2 average on the ground. Jordan Mason 6.3 yards on the ground. We got to stick to the run. I know, short yardage situations. Why are we not running the ball when we're having success on the ground? Jalen Naylor had a great game. I thought he made some huge catches, including that touchdown, but he had 124 yards receiving in this game. The next closest, Justin Jefferson with 4 catches for 37 yards. So Jalen Naylor was definitely, um, you know, probably the star of the game. That defense, at least early on, was doing their job, but we just couldn't get it done. We only had 1 sack on Lamar Jackson. And unfortunately, we did see Jonathan Grenard go exit the game with a shoulder injury. That is a concern for us for sure. Me on X says Jefferson was not the issue today. McCarthy 100% to blame. I mean, accuracy, sure, but some of those balls when it's one on one, you expect your guy to be able to make a play on the ball when it's a jump ball between you and the defender, or when McCarthy puts it right on your hands in the end zone, you got to catch that ball. Um, so a lot of the percent to blame, I can go with that 100%. I guess I just don't buy that from what I saw. Sav reposted the stream. Appreciate that. Jameson Carlson on Access 7 false start. It's actually 8. But even worse, right? Utterly pathetic. Also, Will Fries is not worth the money. McCarthy reminds me of Christian Ponder. Can't read defenses, weak arm, bad footwork, and terrible passes. This definitely was not a good game for JJ McCarthy. It wasn't. So, um, reminds me of Ponder. I really hope it doesn't go that way. This is game number 4. He's now 2-2 as a starter. It was good that we saw some more yards passing the ball, but again, I would have liked to see us run more in this game and be more balanced, and we just weren't. Mickey says on X, "What a terrible loss in a game that could have and should have won." I agree. I agree. The way that our defense played, I feel like we should have won this game. Unfortunately, we just didn't. So again, back to the schedule. We got to win 6 more games somewhere in here. So next week we get the Bears at home. Please tell me that if we're at home again, we're not committing 8 false starts. It should be the away team that is struggling to hear the count, not the home team. Okay. So whether it's the cadence from JJ McCarthy or just, I don't know, whatever it may be, we got to fix that. So somehow I feel like the Bears game is winnable. Packers at Packers. I think the 2 Packers games, we probably split that. It's gonna be hard to get a win at the Lions or sorry, having the Lions here at US Bank. That one's gonna be a tough one. I think at Seahawks is tough. You gotta get a win at the Commanders. May or may not be Jalen. Jaden Daniels here, so we'll see. Apparently, he doesn't have to have surgery, so we'll see if that's Mariota or Jaden Daniels in that game. We gotta get a win at Dallas, at New York, to even have a chance. At least Bears, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants. Those need to be wins, in my opinion. Those 4. And then somehow you gotta come away with a win, 2 wins against either one against the Packers, Lions, and Seahawks. You gotta get 2 wins somewhere in there. So that's gonna be tough. D Muni says this team is so soft. I don't know. I just didn't see the fire today. That's for sure. That's one thing I just didn't see. Kayla Repno on X says KOC continues to not run the ball short yardage. Yes, you're absolutely correct, Kayla. We gotta run the ball, right? Think there's any chance he gives up play calling? Oof, I don't. I don't. At least not right now or during the season. I don't think that that's something he's wanting to do. Mickey comes back. The Vikes should know how to deal with Darnold since we witnessed it 4 games last year. I get it, but we can't even get the snap count right at home, let alone with the 12th man at Seattle. Seattle looks like they're cooking again today. I think that's going to be another one that's just that's going to be a tough out. We have the talent on this team. Our defense has is giving us the opportunity to stay in these games. Our offense has to execute, especially when you the other thing I just wanna say too is just, turnovers, that seems to be the common theme. I mean, I know last week, we gave up one, we got one, but other than that, I mean, for most of this season, we're losing turnover battles, and it's difficult to win games, when you're doing that. So, we're at 4 or 5, we're 1 and 3 at home. I'm sorry, guys. We gotta win home games, to be able to have success in this league. You do. So that is tough. That is tough. Say growing pains suck. It does with a rookie quarterback. There's going to be some of those. We've seen other teams in that same situation, so we know there's going to be those. Absolutely. So hopefully, we're just having to get through the growing pains before we get to the good periods of having a young quarterback that you're trying to develop. So hopefully that's the case. Mickey also says growing pains are fine if you see progress, but JJ goes back and forth in every game. Yeah, you know, I feel like there's some things that I was harping on JJ about doing, and I've seen him then make that adjustment. But then, he's trying to focus on keeping his eyes down the field instead of just running, looking for open plays on the field. But then it's almost like he overcorrects, and now he's got open space in front of him when he should be running instead of trying to pass the ball. And just he's overcorrecting and making the wrong decision. So, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if he can, you know, now, like, dial it back down and find that happy medium. I mean, if you got nobody in front of you, run the ball. Everyone is traumatized by Ponder, so I see why everyone is concerned. Yeah, I get it, but we gotta stick with them and see what we got. All right. So you can see he's learning by some of the things that he's trying to adjust, whether he's overcorrecting or not. You can see he's trying to make adjustments to his game. So we got to stick with it. We got to see it out. As tough as that might be this season, possibly the next, but as tough as it's going to be this season, you got to stick it out and see where this goes for sure. I'm not sure what you meant there. That might have been a mistype. Six shooter says you got to give a signal to the O line to let them know you're switching to a play or get out of the play into another. Uh, yeah, I mean, and I don't know if there was an issue there. I really can't speak to that. If you saw something that I didn't, I'll be honest. Part of the second half was frustrating to me. I told you guys on X that I was going to hit some golf balls in my garage. Yeah, I continue to go out there to keep my stress level down and, watch the game and hit golf balls at the same time. Because man, was it frustrating watching that game, for sure. Yeah, 2026 gonna be interesting. It definitely is. So, you know, tough game for sure. Um, thing Ponder got right was picking his wife. Not much, talent on the field. JJ has talent, just needs to get his game down. Absolutely. You gotta come up with the signal. I think you mean the tempo. It's the tempo, the cadence, trying to keep the opposite team off balance. Yeah, absolutely. And you got to be on the same. You got to be on the same page as your offensive line for sure. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize our that's badass Wood Art, SeatGeek, and Homage, our sponsors. I want to thank them. Now, that's badass wood art. If you use that code VC15, you're going to get 15% off. Luis makes great wood art. He probably did another giveaway this week. I didn't look, but I'm sure that he did. So make sure that you're using that code VC15 for 15% off. I can't forget about SeatGeek. You got any upcoming Vikings games that you're going to, any concert or events, use Vike Central on SeatGeek and get $20 off any $50 or more purchase. And the last one I want to get to is up in the corner, Homage. You see homage.sjv.io/Vikings. These are all ways that you can help support us and what we do. So again, go ahead and check that out. They have great clothing and items there on Homage. Go ahead and check them out. Legendary Comfort is on deck with Homage. All right, just looking for some final comments that you guys have. Mickey, are we cursed to never have a top tier O line ever again? I don't know. I mean, I think we have a good offensive line. I mean, we know we have a good thing in Darisaw O'Neal. I think Donovan Jackson has shown us a lot. Bill Fries has been the only healthy offensive lineman that we've had today, or that we've had this year. And Blake Brandell, I think, is encouraging at center. We were effective these last 2 weeks in running the ball, and then we seemingly gave up on it. So I think since we've had I guess what seems to be our starting offensive line back, and I'm including Blake Brandell in that, I think we've been successful running the ball. I think today there were times, frustrating times, when JJ had more than enough time to pass the ball, like late in that game, uh, that last drive where we ended up getting the touchdown. But Justin Jefferson on 3rd and 10 is wide open. Nobody's nobody's in the same area code as Justin Jefferson. JJ has all the time in the world to throw the ball. He steps into it and totally overthrows and airballs that one over out of bounds. Whew. Um, you got to be able to make those kind of throws because those are throws that you know all the backups in this league can make. So I don't know if it's nerves, what it is. But, you got to make those throws. Now we ended up still being able to convert. Again, huge catch by Jalen Naylor, and then of course following it up with a huge touchdown by Jalen Naylor. Really kind of saved that drive. But man, it's tough. Alex Manning, do you think Flores is getting frustrated with KOC? Defense is keeping us in games. You know what? When you're losing, tensions flare, right? So yeah, I mean, I could see being a defensive player and looking at this like, man, we're doing our job. You guys got to step up. So I can absolutely, Alex, it's a good point. Um, is Flores getting frustrated with KOC? It's not KOC in some instances throwing the ball. So you got to understand that with I'm going to keep calling him rookie quarterback, and this is his rookie playing year. That there's going to be ups and downs there, but yeah, some of the play calling by KOC again this week. It's always easy to say that you know, you hate the play calling when you're losing, right? But you know, it keeps being a theme where we're 3rd and short and we choose not to run the ball, and that is frustrating for all of us, not just Brian Flores, but probably also to all of you fans. Yeah, Mickey. You know what? Uh, it would be easy to say, you know what? No post game show today because just like you guys, I'm a fan. You know, am I frustrated? Am I upset? No, I'm not gonna say it ruins my entire day when the Vikings lose, but you know, obviously it doesn't make it better. Wins, obviously, probably a little bit more chipper. And I know the negativity is going to come, but yes, this is a therapeutic experience for all of us to be able to vent our frustrations. So yes, hopefully, also maybe I'm your Vikings therapist for this afternoon, where you can kind of vent, let it out, and we can all kind of heal together throughout maybe even the rest of the season. So, but next week we get the Bears at home. We knew today was going to be a tough one. So frustrating. Got to forget it. We got to focus on the Bears coming up this week. So I'll give you a couple more here. Mickey, third down, lack of running. Yeah, I don't know, but when you're averaging 5-6 yards a carry, why not keep running the ball? And they were even stacking it on us. So we were having success. I thought our offensive line was doing a good job. So, all right. Well, guys, that's all I have for you today. We're going to focus on the Bears coming up this week. You'll probably see one or two articles from me. So make sure you're reading our Substack. Check us out. If you're not following us on whether it be X, YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok as well, make sure that you follow, subscribe, give us a like, uh, support us. Every game this year, we'll be doing a pregame and a postgame show, trying to bring on good guests for this Bears week. I'm going to try to see if I can also bring on somebody, whether it be a Bears super fan that's out there, or somebody from a podcast. I like to see the opposing team's view, so I hope to bring that to you again this week. You can always catch us on our pregame shows. Typically, right now, any Sunday game that we have, we're trying to do our pregame shows roughly at 9 p.m. on that Saturday. So you can catch us at 9 p.m. Central Time. And then, if you also follow us on the Fall Fantasy 15, that's powered by Viking Central for fantasy football. Some big days out there by A Chain, Jonathan Taylor's huge. But make sure that you're giving us a follow on that too, at Fantasy 15 FB on X. And again, Fantasy 15, we do that every Wednesdays, typically at 9:30 Central Time, to try to give you top 15 to help you win your fantasy football league. So again, thank you again. Appreciate it. Love the Vikings. Just, you know, sometimes they frustrate us, right? So on to the next one. Bears next week. Still love them. Skull Vikings. Let's get a win next week. I'm Steve. This is Viking Central. We'll see you next time.